By the 1980s, kung fu films had evolved, and so had the violence. Forget tradition. These movies traded Shaolin wisdom for ninja mayhem, bizarre weapons, and body counts that made war movies blush. Today we're diving into some of the most brutal kung fu films of the 1980s, where revenge is messy, the stunts are insane, and the only rule is don't blink. Let's do this. Earth, fire, water, wood, gold. Now imagine each one as a ninja clan, and their job is to kill you in the most theatrical, anatomically incorrect way possible. Five Elements Ninjas is a Shaw Brothers bloodbath that starts with a kung fu duel and ends in a full-blown ninja apocalypse. These aren't just guys in black pajamas. The Earth Ninjas come bursting out of the ground, spears at the ready, like stabby gophers. The Water Ninjas literally live in a pond, spearing opponents from below. And the Wood Ninjas? They pop out of trees with sharp weapons like homicidal jack-in-the-boxes. Every death is a spectacle. Throat slit, gut spilled, head skewered. One poor guy even gets torn to pieces in midair. It's like a martial arts slasher movie with a color-coded kill squad. Five Elements Ninjas isn't just over the top, it is the top. This is Shaw Brothers at their most sadistic and their most fun. Every decade, the greatest swordsmen from China and Japan meet in a sacred battle to decide whose martial legacy reigns supreme. Sounds honorable, right? Yeah, until the ninjas show up. Duel to the Death blends high-minded philosophy with off-the-wall spectacle, and the Japanese side brings the chaos. The ninjas glide through the sky on giant kites, like it's a lost level from Ninja Gaiden. And if that doesn't work, no problem. They just self-detonate mid-fight to take out their enemies in a fiery last resort. It's part wuxia opera, part ninja fever dream, and all of it is drenched in blood. Heads roll, swords slice through torsos, and the camera lingers on every slow-motion impact. The choreography is precise, but the tone is wild, unhinged, and strangely poetic. And then comes the final duel. Minimal music, no crowd, just two warriors on a windswept cliff above the ocean, fighting not for glory, but because destiny demands it. Duel to the Death might be one of the most gorgeous martial arts films ever shot, but it's also one of the most vicious. Beautiful and brutal in equal measure. The Venom Mob movies are known for their flashy weapons and acrobatic mayhem, but Masked Avengers feels different. Darker, meaner, murderous. The plot centers on a masked cult of killers wielding iron tridents and leaving a trail of corpses across the countryside. They don't just fight, they ambush, torture, and impale. One poor soul even gets a trident shoved straight through the chest, nailed to a tree like a warning sign. The villain's lair is a twisted death trap, filled with doors that can chop you in half, acid that sprays out of the walls, and secret compartments where the cult watches, ready to spear anyone who gets close. It feels more like a haunted house designed by a kung fu serial killer. As our heroes infiltrate the cult, the body count climbs fast. There are double crosses, dismemberments, and sudden deaths that come with zero warning. Masked Avengers is one of Shaw Brothers' most violent efforts, a kung fu slasher movie dressed in classic Venom robes. Stylish, suspenseful, and soaked in blood. Meet Constable Lung, a man so feared criminals would rather die than face him. He's a government enforcer with a reputation for ruthless efficiency. And in Killer Constable, he's given a mission that perfectly fits his cold-blooded resume. Recover a shipment of stolen gold within 10 days and deal with the thieves however he pleases. What follows is a grim, relentless pursuit through muddy forests, dusty roads, and decaying villages, where mercy is weakness and the law is enforced by the sword. Lung isn't a villain, but he's not a hero either. He executes without hesitation, cutting down anyone who gets in his way. He is quite literally the system, and the system has no soul. This isn't stylized fantasy. It's grounded, painful, and relentless. You'll see body parts flying through the air, people getting burned alive, heads getting chopped off, and a climactic blood-soaked rampage, with Lung taking on dozens of bad guys at once. Killer Constable doesn't mince action, it delivers it cold and merciless. And it's one of the most uncompromising martial arts films of the era. After a devastating betrayal leaves a family of loyal Song warriors slaughtered in battle, two brothers escape, but neither comes out whole. One returns home, traumatized and broken. The other takes refuge in a monastery, where his rage clashes with Buddhist discipline. Forbidden from using blades, he trains with a pole, forging a brutal new fighting style born of grief and survival. But when tragedy strikes again, he's forced to break his vows and unleash everything he's tried to bury: anger, violence, and a pole technique so fierce it turns enemies into pulp. With shattered teeth, cracked skulls, and a final fight that feels more like a spiritual meltdown than a kung fu duel, the 8-diagram pole fighter isn't just brutal, it's personal. And every hit lands like a scream that's been waiting to escape. Set during the Japanese occupation of Manchuria, a fistful of Talons trades splashy wirework for gritty, grounded pain. Billy Chong plays a martial artist caught in a web of rebellion and betrayal, and the fights are anything but pretty. Every punch lands with weight. Every kick feels like it could snap bone. It's raw and relentless, with action scenes that feel more like survival than choreography. But here's a heads up. The final bloody battle involves a brief scene in which a man tears a real eagle in half with his bare hands. The scene is pretty controversial, and while it's unlikely the bird is still alive when it happens, it's very real and it's hard to watch. It's a stark reminder that some older films cross lines modern audiences may not be okay with. Despite that, A Fistful of Talons delivers some of the hardest-hitting, no-nonsense martial arts of the decade. Just be ready for a film that doesn't flinch, even when maybe it should. Don't let the temple robes fool you. Shaolin Intruders isn't about enlightenment. It's a kung fu murder mystery that dives headfirst into blood and betrayal. A monk, a gambler, and a female warrior investigate a string of murders connected to Shaolin Temple. The path to truth is paved with spine snaps, head injuries, intense eyebrows, and one devastating moment where a character's arms are violently ripped off. The film hides its violence in shadow and ritual. Just when you expect a graceful move, you're hit by raw brutality. The final sequence in the temple is like a twisted trial of pain, full of wild acrobatics and nunchucks shattering bones. Brutal, stylish, and sneakily smart, Shaolin Intruders hits hard, with clenched fists and an even tighter grip on your nerves. Bloody Parrot isn't your run-of-the-mill kung fu film. It's a hallucinogenic plunge into wuxia horror. Plucked from the shadows of ancient legend, The so-called Bloody Parrot is a mythic omen linked to stolen imperial treasure. Swordsmen and supernatural cultists collide in a bizarre quest full of dark magic, twisted rituals, and a mystery that refuses easy answers. Expect gruesome autopsies, with corpses revealing hidden treasures grafted inside. Also demonic possession, bodies melting, fog-soaked graveyards that flicker between reality and nightmare, and a visual style that feels like Argento on a sword and robe budget. It's not about gore for gore's sake. It's stylistic, surreal, and deeply unsettling. Bloody Parrot doesn't just earn its title, it inhabits it. The 80s were unhinged, and Kung Fu cinema went along for the ride, crashing through temples, wielding tridents, and flying in on ninja kites. These films pushed boundaries with their choreography, violence, and sheer creative madness. From pole-fighting monks to masked killers and bizarre rituals, this era wasn't just about skill. It was about surviving the fight in one piece. So which of these brutal 80s masterpieces hit you hardest? Let us know your favorites in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and don't forget to duck when the ninja stars come out.